Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everybody. Friends, we have a very dear friend, Azhar Tambuwala, with us today. Azhar is basically an engineer in electronics and telecommunication, and passed out from St. Vincent School. And we specifically mentioned the name of the school because even I am from St. Vincent's, and we are very proud to be the part of St. Vincent's High School. Azhar has been a director in SAHYADRI Farms. SAHYADRI Farms is a group of companies where Azhar and their whole team has helped very marginal farmers go and do international business. And how did they do it, and what are the mode of operation that they did will come up when he speaks. He is a Rotarian of very high esteem, a lot of Rotary awards. He's done very active in Rotary, and soon he will be the president of the Rotary Club of Pune Cantonment. We are waiting for him to say yes. The moment he says yes, he will become the president. He has an own packaging company, and he has given job opportunities to many people. So I hand it over to Azhar, and as he speaks, I am sure you will enjoy the way he speaks. Very informative, and you will benefit from the whatever Azhar speaks. So over to you, Azhar. The screen sharing is also given to you. So Bismillah.
Thank you, Nisar Bhai. Thank you, Nisar Bhai. Can you hear me? I just want to confirm that.
Yes, yes.
Yes, all right. Okay, that's good
So
enough.
we'll meet all others now.
And you can see me also, right?
Yeah, I can see you.
All right. Okay, great. Okay, salams to everybody, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to give you an idea. When Nisar Bhai and me discussed this about what was to be spoken, he gave me a different idea. We discussed a different title, and a different title came up. But nevertheless, and I prepared a presentation accordingly. But nevertheless, I'm told I'm given 40 minutes, so
Yes,
it's going to be very difficult to compile and tell you everything that I would like to tell you in 40 minutes. So I'm going to try and speed up, and I'm going to leave the last for questions. So the first thing is, we are SAHYADRI Farms. We are an FPO, which is a how do you call it? We are a farmer producer organization. Just a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. Okay. So we are an FPO, which is a hybrid model of a cooperative in India. Except that in the cooperative model, you usually need the government intervention and somebody to be on the board. In an FPO model, we are completely owned by farmers, 100% farmer-owned company, and no intervention by anybody, and you can run it like a private business. It basically gives farmers an opportunity to become businessmen, and without being exploited and being taken advantage of. So we call ourselves SAHYADRI Farms, because of the entire ethos, like I explained, it's of the farmers, by the farmers, and for the farmers. And what we are trying to bring in is a lot of what you see on the screen over here, which ultimately goes to the top, which is of safe food. Now, we talk of transparency, testing, retail delivery, traceability, sorting, grading, seeding goodness, which is a tagline. Now, most consumers in India, at least, are not aware of most of it, because we are people who are buying off the street. And if the vegetable looks green, we are quite happy with it. 98% of Indians are buying off the street, whereas unlike other countries where about 95% people buy in only supermarkets, and supermarkets have a brand name, and along with the brand name comes an image and responsibility. So how they source their fruit and vegetables is a very, very different concept as against the Indian consumer buying their fruit and vegetables for their homes. And all of this becomes very important when you're dealing in fruits and vegetables, when you're in the international market. Incidentally, I was listening to Mr. Sajid, who said he was from Oman, and we supply a lot to Oman and Muawle market over there. We've got a lot of customers there. I often come there to meet my customers also there. So we are present in we are present in about 42 countries, so to say. but we're also there, you know, I just wanted to mention that. So these bits and pieces that you see, I will try and explain what it means, because from an Indian consumer point of view, you may not understand the importance of it all. But why did we do all this? Why did we get into this whole thing? Now, we've been in the business for about 25 years, and the whole idea was that the urban India is so largely different from the rural India. Now, these are two pictures which are very, you see India, and you know, I can travel 20 kilometers outside Pune, and the entire infrastructure is completely different. And why is that? Why should it be like that? Obviously, there's neglect, and that's the reason we find a lot of people who are leaving farming, who are leaving their the rural livelihood and coming to the cities for the glamour. I mean, I know farmers who come and live in the cities for a salary of like 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, which is abysmal, because why that farming by itself is a very difficult thing, and there is, you know, there's a failed agriculture marketing system. There are no proper linkages. There's no leadership by the government or by anybody else, and the youth really don't know what to do. And somewhere or the other, it's become an unrespectable business. If I say, you know, there are people don't even get married, because a lot of times when the proposals are going in the rural areas and say ki mulga kai karto hai, sheti karto hai, they believe if he's a farmer, his life is unpredictable and unguaranteed. So I'd rather get my wife married or my daughter married to somebody in the city who's got a job and who's got some security. And these are serious problems, and this is the reason our whole purpose over here has been to connect Bharat to India, and it's called a rural and urban entrepreneurship. So we are into social entrepreneurship, and this is what we're trying to do. So a little bit what you can read over here is what I told you about the differences between rural and urban, and we're not talking of really thousands of kilometers away from any city. Outside any city is this huge difference that we see. And, you know, that's what we're trying to solve, you know. So the whole purpose of it was to find solutions for small farmers, overcome the challenges as an agro entrepreneur, and make farming profitable and sustainable, and development of the agriculture and rural community. And how we've done that, I will you through that and why and how. Yeah, and we actually, although we've been in the business since 25 years or so now, but we formed this company only in 2011, and today we are India's largest fruit and vegetable cooperative, and we are also India's largest grape exporters. We are also India's largest tomato growers and processors, and besides a lot of other products and things that we do. So I'll just go, you know, explain to you how we went through that. Because there's a lot of slides I have and I don't have enough time, so I'm going to the visions, and which becomes probably a little more ideological. So I'm just going to run through it so that you can probably read it. I won't really talk much about it. Okay. What we've also done is, under our mother, what is our structure? So at the top, where you can see here, is our parent company. And under the parent company, we have another 11 FPOs, or 11 cooperatives. And these 11 cooperatives are crop-specific cooperatives, because every region, we are in Maharashtra, and every region in Maharashtra has got its own climate and soil conditions. And therefore, they are specializing, or they grow particular crops in their region. So for me to form a company, or let's say in Pune or in Nasik or somewhere, and go and try and control something in Akluj or Sholapur doesn't make sense. So we started creating these FPOs, under which the local farmers are directors on the board of that particular company and of that particular product. So they understand the challenges of their products better, and they take guidance from us as a parent company and go through their challenges and find solutions for that. So this is just a little bit of the structure that we do. Our target by 2023 is at least 300,000 or 3 lakh consumers in the Indian local market, and at least have 100,000 or 1 lakh acres under our coverage. At the moment, we are covering around about 40,000 acres of land, which is under our direct agronomy support. So whilst we don't own all the land, all our growers own the land. In the previous slide that you will see that we've got about 620 shareholders. All these shareholders are farmers, and all these farmers are marginal farmers. I must mention 80% of India has got only marginal farmers, and by marginal farmers, they are about 2 or 3 acres, 2 to 5 acres of land. Now, we in the city, we are living in apartments or bungalows, 2,000 square feet till say 10,000 square feet. So when I tell you that a farmer has got 5-acre land, for you to look at it, you probably look at it as a big thing, like wow, 5 acres land. Like you look at it from a farmer's point of view. When you go and try and earn your living off that 2 to 5 acres of land, the statistics are that on an average, per acre, a grower can earn about 60,000 rupees a year as revenue. This is not profits. This can go up to about 2 or 3 lakhs, depending upon horticulture crops or what kind of crops they're doing. But that kind of revenue on 2 or 3 acres, along with the challenges of rain and climate and seed quality and the failed agriculture system, failed market pricing, if all of that goes well, then you can have that little bit. So which is what we are talking of really is about 2 to 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs a year at the very best. And this then gives rise to other social problems, because then the farmer doesn't have money. He doesn't have, there are social issues where he doesn't want the girls or the women to educate themselves. He can't really go out and feel free to do other things. Sometimes if he's got a bad crop, he ends up in debt. Then the bankers don't give him a loan. He ends up going to the sahukar or to the local money lender at high interest rates. And if he cannot give that, there's unrest at home. The family is disturbed. He can't really earn back. He can't pay that back. He ends up, gets into bad habits, gets into drinking to resolve his depression, and all of that culminates. You hear of farmer suicides and all. So suicide is not something which happens just overnight. Everything is happy and gory and everything happens. It happens because there's a series of events which are taking place, and one fine day this guy just says it's better to quit, and he commits suicide over there. So all these challenges which are there is because of marginal holding. We have also understand marginal holding. So what we're trying to do is all these marginal farmers, we are holding their hands and bringing them together to create strength, bandmutti, lakhi, that kind of thing. So this is our target. We are talking 300,000 consumers in the Indian market. We are already present in about 42 countries in the world at the moment. I put in these slides specifically because Nisarva had said to me that besides speaking about what we do, we also wanted to give an idea about what opportunities could be there for the members of the chamber and for others in agriculture. So today, understand one thing is that in this pandemic, anything that actually worked was the fruit and vegetables. People stop businesses that are either selling sanitizers or they're selling fruit and vegetables. No businesses actually so we've come to kind of realize that we need our fruits and vegetables, and that's something which is never going to go out of need. It's never going to go into a recession. And 60% of India's GDP is agriculture. Although we talk of IT, we talk of industrial revolution, we talk of all of those things, but a majority part of our labor, major part of our GDP comes from agriculture. And I would really, and what we find is farmers' children, this generation, is actually now going out and getting themselves educated and becoming MBAs and graduates in agriculture. But rarely have I seen, except once I was speaking, I was invited to speak at a college at Symbiosis, and the course was MBA Agriculture, and I was very pleased to see that there were students outside the agriculture. The parents were not into agriculture. The parents were doing something else, but they were doing an MBA in agriculture. And what I'd like to tell you is there is tremendous scope. There are a lot of courses being offered, good courses in good colleges. And India is agriculture. Our economy is agriculture, and there's tremendous scope if you qualify yourself in that particular thing. And what are the opportunities? One is the cost of production. Because of the small land holding, farmers don't have enough knowledge what to do, how to do. So innovative practices and whatever resources you have to optimize those resources, this is a huge need. All these points that I've put over here is extremely important. You know, crop genetics, there are, you know, we are so used to using the old thake hue varieties of so many crops that which today the world has gone ahead, where they've got seeds or varieties of plants which are stronger, which are more disease resistant, more pest resistant, which are more rainfall resistant. They give you a better yield, a better production, therefore a better quality, and you can get a better market price. So that's a huge area of opportunity and you know, and a career over there. Again, increasing productivity, I mentioned in the crop genetics point of view. Improving quality, again, coming from varieties, you know, you have organic and residue free. Now, this is a term which people are often confused about. I wouldn't say they are confused, but they don't know enough. So everybody says, is it organic? And nobody really understands what is organic. So everybody thinks organic is nice and pure, and that's like, there's purity in that, you know. Organic is a great way of farming, but it's absolutely natural farming, and there is a method to it. There is certifications to it. It takes, even for your soil to become organic, it takes about 3 or 4 years for it to churn out and clean it out. And there's a process and there's certifications, and you can't just go around claiming I'm organic. So if somebody says somebody is organic, please ask them, do you have certifications? And for how many? And it takes minimum 3 years for you to be fully certified as organic. So don't just blindly go about when people claim organic. Ask them whether they have certifications and for how many years. So I know a lot of companies selling organic, but not really organic. And what does residue-free mean? Now, residue-free is what we do with, it's called safe, there's a term or a global agriculture platform called GAP, or Good Agricultural Practices. And global GAP is a global good agricultural practices. Now, under these practices, you are obliged and you're supposed to tend to your farm in such a way that your crops are safe for human consumption. Now, whenever you go off and buy off the street, you have no clue where your product is coming from, who has grown it, how has he grown it, is it good for me, is it safe for human consumption? Now, most of us from India, including SAHYADRI, I presume is from Bombay or India, and if you travel by the local trains in Bombay, you may have seen patches of vegetables growing on the sides. Yeah, if you'll remember that. But if you all don't, let me also tell you that there are people growing vegetables on the railway tracks or on just outside the railway tracks, you know, outside the boundary walls. These vegetables are then harvested and brought to you in the evening, and the travelers going back home in Bombay's busy life are taking those vegetables and going back home thinking they're nice and green. Now, nobody has ever thought that what is the soil condition on a railway track to grow vegetables? What is your source of water? Where is he getting his water from? It's probably the residue or the latrine water coming in from the trains, or there's just nala water. So what is your source of water which is being used to grow those vegetables? What is your soil condition? And what are you spraying on it? Yet a consumer or a housewife who does a buying will just buy it off thinking it's nice and green and I can cut it and while home and go and cook it. So these are small things which people have not, as an Indian consumer, you're not aware of your rights to buy safe produce. Like the person on the street when he's buying, when he's selling his stuff, you don't know what he sprayed. So GAP or global agricultural practices, good agricultural practices ensure that what we are actually spraying on our crops is fit for human consumption. Because every chemical has got a period of dissipation. It has a period during which it will dissipate from the product. Now, why do we need to spray? We need to spray for pest diseases. You suddenly have cloudy weather, there will be a pest attack. If you have unforced rainfall, you need to put fertilizers in. And all of this has some amount of chemical. Now, there are international standards about how much of chemical on a fruit or a vegetable is good for human consumption. There should be a minimum level. And those minimum levels are determined and are available. And we grow and we spray our crops. For example, let us say so I will only harvest it in that particular measure, or I will spray it in that particular measure 40 days or before, if I know it is my time for harvest, to ensure that my crop is safe for human consumption. Now that kind of discipline and understanding Indian consumers don't have, neither do Indian farmers have. I have often seen Indian farmers who grow a small patch of land for their own home growth, and they have a separate patch of land for the market. Now this is a very serious thing, and to grow residue-free fruit and vegetables and bring it for your consumption is a very important aspect of the food safety chain. You know, when we talk of walking on the footpath as safety, we talk of wearing a helmet as safety. Nobody talks about food safety. So what do you mean by food safety? So all these things which I'm talking about residue control is a very important part about food safety. So please be aware of when you're trying to go buy something. And again, when I talk of crop management and certifications, as per global standards, just I mentioned there's global GAP and all of this kind of these are opportunities where India is lacking behind. Although we are the largest, but we don't cover all of India. And there is tremendous scope and opportunity for people all over India to bring in these practices and for India to grow as a global player in a more disciplined and standardized manner. Another slide on opportunities is post-harvest. India loses close to about 30% of fruits and vegetables which goes as waste because of improper post-harvest management, lack of cold storage facilities, lack of cold store vehicles. So 30% of your production is actually going to waste. There's huge scope over there. We don't have talented youth, we don't have educated youth, we still have farmers, and a lot of the farmers up till the last generation at least were just doing traditional farming. And it's only now that you see the children of those farmers are studying and they're coming up with some education, but we need people even from the urban area to consider agriculture as a career option, and not necessarily meaning that you're going there and farming yourselves, but there is tremendous scope to bring solutions to farmers and other opportunities, you know, like technology. I mean, blockchain, AI, machine learning, prediction tools, simulation tools, all of this we are using in our company today. And all of this are great tools which our farmers are benefiting from. And there is tremendous scope, like I said, for the rest of India to actually use all this. We're probably the first company to bring in blockchain and use these technologies. In fact, we have even got weather stations. We've even got weather stations for every region area in our in our area that we control, so that we are able to predict what's going to happen in that particular region and give my farmer predictive analysis or predictive ideas about how to manage his crop rather than having a problem and then giving them a solution. When I can already say that, all right, this is going to happen next week or the week 10 days, you're going to manage it this way, harvest early or spray this or do something. We've got a team of agronomists who do that, and they are all the time advising and supporting the growers. So there's tremendous scope to bring technology to agriculture. Agriculture has always been traditional, and we have this little bechara farmer kind of a thought process. But the farmer is as smart and as good as we are, and all he needs is opportunities. And secondly, it's a domestic market. Like I said earlier in the talk, is that there are close to 98% of all our buying is off the street. There is tremendous scope for the market development because there are so many linkages until the fruit and vegetable reaches the consumer. So as I put in some figures over there, that agri inputs in malls now, one thing which is something that we're doing, in the cities, these malls designed for the urban consumer. So you'll have the clothes, and you'll have, what do you have? You have restaurants, and you have cinema halls, and shoes and everything, all consumer apparels and whatever you need in a mall designed for the urban consumer. But there is a fantastic opportunity in B and C cities and in the rural areas for similar kind of malls to the taste of that particular area, of that space. Nobody's focusing on that. Everybody's focusing on the urban, the smart, the savvy. What really happens is they just have a different purchasing power, but they have needs also. A great agri-input division. We have a huge agri-input division, 25 CR, supplying agriculture inputs and fertilizers to our people. I mean, their women need, their children go to school. They need they need water bottles, and they need tiffin boxes. They need clothes. They need shoes. They need stuff. So there is a fantastic opportunity to have malls and retail options, the smart retail options that you see in the cities, in the rural. So we need to step out of the urban areas and develop the rural areas. And once we do all this, you will see India growing. You see why the city is getting congested, is because the youth is not getting the flavor. The rural youth is not getting flavor in the urban cities. So they're coming to the urban cities. They're not getting it in the rural areas. And there is tremendous scope to create this in the rural areas. And I will show you what we've done also later. And a lot of what I said, we already, like I said, it's a huge topic and there's a lot to speak about. But what we're trying to do, what I said, what we're trying to do is efficient resource management, post-harvest professionalism. We've got an R&D team also. We've got a domestic B2B as well as a B2C team. We use a lot of apps. We find even the street vendors, we are selling to street vendors by way of apps. Everybody's very app savvy now. We've got global networking. In this pandemic, we did about 100,000 cartons of 10 kgs each in just reaching out to consumers to their homes. Just distributing fruits and vegetables, which was a huge opportunity which we did. And there is no brand in fruit and vegetables. There's no branding happening. Nobody can trust, you trust a Godrej and trust a Bata for shoes. But whereas there is no brand in fruits and vegetables. And that's an opportunity here. So if you create your network, if you create a back end and you link to the front end, there is this great opportunity for brand building. There's not a single brand in the fruit and vegetable market. Skilling opportunities, crop insurance, finance. There's a lot of stuff that needs, and that's got tremendous opportunity for anybody wanting to enter into this sector. This is our tier system where from the farmer it goes to the FPO, and then it comes to the mother FPO. It goes to the B2B company, and then it goes to the retail company. So this is our kind of a structure of processing our products. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining all of that. I'm happy to talk to you individually or later if anybody wants to understand more. This is what we're doing basically, is efficient farm management, increasing production increasing yield, reducing costs, better marketing, brand building, post-harvest management, and branding support, and then we'll be giving you minimum supports also. So the supply to demand, what we're trying to do is from the farmer to the consumer, all are important links of that entire chain. We cannot focus on one particular aspect and say, I'm going to be a supply logistics company, the best in the world, or I'm going to be an app company, or I'm going to be a farmer. All these links have to be joined together, and all these links, when they are strong, will create a sustainable model of business in the agriculture sector. And this is what we've been trying to do all the time. And we look at every farm as an enterprise and every farmer as an entrepreneur. So I'm not going to, when I'm saying, just quickly, I'm going to tell you climate, soil, water. These are things which are extremely important, great opportunities for improvement over there. And all of that leads to productivity and price and branding. These things I've covered. I will not let you know but there's no point in spending. This is my grape value chain, where we are the largest grape exporters. We did about 35,000 tons last year. We are the largest in the country. Just a small statistic to show you that in the last, by way of tonnage and the number of farmers, area of farmers we did is about 5,500, and number of farmers is 1,200 in the grape value chain. And we supplying our grapes to about 42 countries in the world. This is a market share in Europe. We're about 17%. Just to give you an idea of technology, all our farms are geotagged. So if you see this little red, we're using apps and technology where all my farm, I can map it out on an application, and I know exactly which farm, and I have all the details of every farmer. Their Satbara Utara, their local documentation. As you can see, how many acres does he have, how many plots does he have, what is his village, what is his contacts. All this goes into a system to help us in traceability. All our farmers, any produce, if I give you 1 kg of any produce and I give it to you any part of the world, I can trace it back. I can trace back every kilo of produce supplied to a consumer in any part of the world. I can tell you which farmer has grown it, when it was harvested, and what was done with it. So we're using a lot of technology, and just as we can, so can you, and do it. This is what I was talking about, traceability. So we've got the GLN, G10, SSC, all these kind of systems in place just to ensure that we can trace all the product that you will be consuming. And because we are creating a lot of data, there's a lot of data which comes in every day. We have also tied up with companies in overseas where we are crunching all this data. So we're doing a lot of data crunching, better, faster, and accurate decision making. Because all of that has to be simulated in some form, and that helps us to make decisions at all these levels. At the farm, at the well level, machinery level, satellite level, all these things we are able to do so. And I'd like to again keep, all this may be sounding a little too high tech or fundu for an army or for an agriculture sector, but the point is that we are just very ordinary people with this. We don't come with any big daddy pockets. We're just ordinary middle class people who had a vision, and we've come out and we're trying to do something. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's possible if you have the right intent and if you have the right vision. It's possible for anybody to do it. We can do it. We're ordinary people, middle class. My father was working. He was a serviceman. My other people who are joined together are also similar. They're farmers. So this is not something which is, I'm not a Mahindra or a Tata. And just as ordinary as I am, and anybody else can also, it's a matter of just getting involved and visualizing what you want to do. We have a lot of technical meetings. I call all these agronomists from overseas. We call agronomists from overseas. These are all our farmers. Some pictures. We have farm visits. We call scientists and agronomists. We have visits on the farms, as well as technical talks about so many subjects in the matter. I also take farmers overseas. These are pictures, I think, in Spain or in US. And these are, every year we take about 15 or 20 farmers, selected farmers. We put them on a plane and take them out to show them how other farmers in the world are behaving. It also, one thing is that whilst they also learn about farming in the world, it also gives them the opportunity of getting onto a plane, staying in a nice hotel, having a buffet breakfast, a continental breakfast, walking the streets, seeing a European or a Western country, and opening their minds. The whole idea is, what we're trying to do is not only about farming, it's also opening their minds. And when they come back, when they look at all of that and they say that, okay, those people are also ordinary people, and they may be whites, and we have this, we are brown, so we have this little problem with looking at whites in a different way. But we try to explain to them that the whites also had similar problems. They just handle the problems differently, and we can also handle our problems differently. So as long as you open your mind, so when they get onto a plane, live in fancy hotels, walk the street, shave every day, otherwise they're unshaven, so many small things. But when they come back to their village, they talk about it. The village knows that, okay, there is a world outside, which we see on the videos and TVs and all, but the actual experience is different. And then that farmer also wants his children, his generation, his daughters to grow and do something bigger than what he actually traditionally have wanted him to do. So there are farmers who now want their daughters to study and actually be actively part of the business or part of farming, as against just get them married off. So there's a different mindset also we are trying to create when we take them on these exposure visits. Bringing in varieties, I had a lot of challenges in bringing new grape varieties into the country. It took me 7 years in just knocking on the doors of many breeders in the world. And there are a lot of red tapeism, a lot of mistrust. Breeders were not willing to trust us, but we managed to become exclusive growers for an American variety of grapes, which actually of different colors and has got different possibilities to grow them better. They are rain resistant, bigger berries, better colors, more yield. And this is a very important part of agricultural opportunities, that India has a requirement to build new genetics. And we have taken licenses. These are licenses. We don't need to necessarily experiment ourselves, but we are able to also get them from overseas. This is a plantation of our own. Typically, although I said India is a small farmer country, we took this land. We've got about 600 acres land. We've taken it on lease, long lease from the government near Awalgaon, and we are doing a lot of testing on this. So this is just one of our farms over there. I'll quickly go through these pictures. This is a black variety which we are importing from Chile, South America. This is the US variety. This is no need to go to the technicals, but this is a white or a green variety. These kind of grapes, the red ones, which you will see usually overseas when people travel. All of these kind of are strong, and they've got really reasons. And we are replicating the grape story in all these other products also. We're bringing in new varieties, new technology, and all these products are also being done. This incidentally is the infrastructure that we have. We have about 625,000 of square feet area, which is agri input facility, weather station, 9 weather stations, a consumer mall. We've got a fruit house, 250 tons a day. We can manage it. We've got pre-cooling and cold store rooms. We have got ripening rooms. We have semi-controlled. We've got a frozen plant, an IQF plant, which is individually quick frozen. We also make purees, aseptic purees, frozen stores, dry warehouses. We also make aseptic juices, hot fill juices, and ketchup jams. Like I said, we also, besides our own brand of jams and ketchups, all the Kisan brand of ketchups is made at our factory. So Hindustan Lever manufactures. So next time you actually buy some Kisan ketchup or jam, if you look behind, you will see our manufactured at SAHYADRI. And this is a picture of our facility. This is a small, this is one side. I mean, the picture, the whole facility could not be captured in this. But what I would like to point out, as good and nice and beautiful as it looks, we are actually in a village. We are not in a city. Usually you see this in cities, in a nice campus, in, you go to a Tata or one of the IT companies and stuff like that. This facility, this was, when we bought this land, it was a hill, it was a hillock. Today we've got about 80 acres over here. And on this is everything. Over here is admin blocks. This is my entire manufacturing, my FMCG facility. This is an amphitheater. This is an academy. We have tied up with Tata Strive for skilling development, where we are training all the rural youth in various disciplines. So Tata Strive and SAHYADRI have got a tie-up, and this is my academy over here. Right next to it, although this is a tank over here, right next to it, we've also got a hostel over there. We allow students to come and stay there for short courses. That's my agri input facility. Those are other stores and stuff like that. The point of taking this picture and showing you is that this is a village. We are in a village. We are not in a city. And this is an Indian village. You will see all the farms around it over here. These are all farms. And we are in a farm region. So it is possible to build this. And this will ensure that rural economy goes up and people don't have to rush to the urban to actually create a career, And we employ about 500 people here on a daily basis, and my labor force at its peak usually is about 4,000 labor from all the neighboring villages. So there's great ample opportunity for employment generation in the rural sector and to create something, This is just some of our pictures inside what we do. These are our lines, our juice lines, FMCG lines. This is our fruit packing lines. That's my tomato processing line. So we make a lot of concentrate over there. These are our storages. This is also one of our retail sectors. As you will see, like I explained earlier, we are all usually used to buying off the street. We are trying to bring in international flavors into India and creating a shopping experience where you can get pre-cut, pre-sorted, cleaned fruit and vegetables for sale in a hygienic atmosphere, like walking into a supermarket store. And these kind of stores, we've got 13 at the moment, with a plan to increase more in the next few years, right? We also planning soil testing labs, PTOL testing labs, and all of this is a lot of money. So it all takes a lot of time to build all this inside. We've got 9 weather stations. We plan to have about 100 more. And all of this, the top of the pyramid, or the food chain pyramid, is your food safety plan. And all of this which comes below is everything, but it all culminates. The climax of all the things that you see below is a food safety plan, which as an Indian consumer, or as even the Indian government, is not really fully aware of what and how to, what you should be focusing on. There are laws somewhere dusted, but nobody really worries about that. These are our certifications. We've got international certifications, local certifications, whatever you need. We've got halal certification, as well as all international certifications required. These are some brands that we work with within India and outside India. They are all our customers or our partners, and they're all over the world. That's just a little idea of our global reach of what we do. Our key development, this is what we're doing for Kisan. We are present in the domestic market. In about 40 domestic markets we are covered, where we will be selling our own branded fruits and vegetables. My GRAPE, now this is the value chain. Now we have got this slide. I will obviously, let's not go into the figures, but I'll quickly tell you that a crop value chain can impact. What is the impact of a crop value chain? When you take one crop like grapes, and when I look at all that is needed, but all the people, all the stakeholders of that particular value chain, of that particular crop, what do they contribute to? And you can see the impact, that the total impact it can have on the right side. You know, what is the total impact that one value chain can create on employment, on economy, on the links, and so many stakeholders. Products also. This is my domestic distribution, but I won't go through this. Why pharma-owned retail we are talking about is when I earlier spoke to you about from the farm to the consumer, the entire link has to be managed together. The whole reason is we want the farm and the farmer and the consumer to be directly connected, as against having so many people in between. So having our own retail chain. So when you get produce from SAHYADRI, you're actually getting it from a farmer. You're not getting it from a trader in between. You're not getting it from an agent. You're not getting it from somebody who's bought it off. You're actually getting it from the source. And this is what a consumer appreciates and understands. And oftentimes, and the money that he pays goes to the farmer. Oftentimes, the money that you pay does not go to the farmer. It goes to the agent or the trader on the street who's selling. He's seeing the situation, the farmer or the mandi people are making all the money. But when you're buying from the farmer directly in a situation like what we have, then the money is actually going back to the farmer. So he is more powered with the money that you pay. This is just a little our USPs. We are the first FPO to introduce blockchain. Our qualities, our international customers, and our toughest markets we have captured in Japan and the European Union. Safe food and transparency I've spoken to you about. Complete digitalization of the value chain over here. We've got SAP. We are probably one of the first. We are the first FPO to use SAP. We are all on SAP systems, and we've got other technology also which we use throughout our supply chain. Blockchain I explained, but I don't think we have time for that. You can scan our barcodes and know exactly where your produce is coming from. A lot of technology that we use here. This is just a sample of the kind of stores that we're coming up to give the consumer a different experience of shopping. I spoke to you about our academy, and that is the Tata Strive Excellence Academy, where we've already had a few batches pass out from here. And as you can see, we're teaching them business management, financial management, which the farmers by themselves don't know enough, So it's very important for the rural sector to do this. Our ultimate objective, we have adopted 14 villages in our area, in our near area, and with the population about 40,000. And our objective is to transform the agricultural economy, skill development, village redevelopment, water distribution, sanitation, and all that. You can see connectivity, digitalization, health, education. And it is amazing that when you are stepping out and trying to do this, how the response comes from the local villages, the sarpanch and the local villagers. Amazingly, when they understand that you are there for their benefit, you're not there to take from them, but you're there to give them. And that sense of cooperation, once you build in, the energy becomes completely different in working out. This is just some work that we do at the rural level. I won't go into this because we don't have the time. This is one of the reasons why we are doing this. We cannot take risks. The small individual farmer on his own cannot take risks, cannot be competitive, cannot sustain himself. So that's the reason we, as an aggregator, we come in. And that's where FPOs or farmer producer organizations are required, which enables small farmers to come together and create a larger strength. And this is our small, we were invited by the government also to give them a plan for Maharashtra. So these are some slides which we told them about. We presented to them about 700 value chains of different crops and how these can be changed, and entire agricultural economy of Maharashtra can be improved. So we've shared this with the chief ministers and agri ministers and all, but this is just something I want to share with you, that these are opportunities in the agricultural sector. We can't do everything, and the playing field is large, and you guys, there's tremendous opportunity if anybody wants to really come in and do something. So I hope I have rushed through very fast, I'm not too sure whether you've caught on to everything, but I'm happy to take any questions if needed.
Yeah, it was very informative, Azhar. Lots of things to be told, but limited time. But you did it very well. I think there are lots of questions people want to ask. Can you raise a hand and we'll come to you. Anybody who has a question, please raise your hand on the right and we'll come right back to you. Let's start. Anybody has any questions?
Mujtaba Bhai incidentally has come to my place, and thank you so much for your.
Azhar bhai.
Sir, thank you so much. Vishal bhai, it seems there aren't any questions.
I ask you one question. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
See, I am from the pharmaceutical side. I was just looking at, there are a lot many medicinal alkaloids and plants which are extremely expensive. Like if I give an example, there's a product called hyoscine. 1 kilo would be around $15,000. So are you not interested in getting into medicinal plants and varieties?
You're asking me whether we are into medicinal varieties, right?
Is it something that medicinal plants and cannot be worked on in this area, or is it something difficult?
That actually has to be studied, because depending on what the medicinal plant is and what kind of soil and temperature and climatic condition it needs, we'll have to study that before I can actually say yes or no, whether it can be grown. And
But then how about using technology like hydroponics and greenhouses or something like that?
we already have greenhouses, and we do a lot of projects. We've got a nursery. We do a lot of breeding and technology transfer in greenhouses at our own place. We're building a nursery ourselves. That's not really the challenge. The challenge is what your product actually needs and what is going to be the buyback. We have the depth, we have the farmer knowledge, we have the technology to grow it for you if required. But that needs to be discussed. So I will not tell you a no, but it's obviously a matter of discussion for exactly what.
See, there is a list of products I source in. For example, alkaloids. And I understand that these are in terms of, like for example, there's some alkaloids, it's very expensive. 1 kilo would be like worth around $10,000. Getting it? Now, if you backtrack and see whether those plants can be cultivated in our area, is it possible to relook into the scenario?
Yes, possible. Like I said to you, it's possible, but we need to study it. I mean, we have the depth, we have the land, we have the growers, we have the technology. So there's no reason for me to say no, unless that product or that plant does not, my soil and my weather condition does not suit it. You see, so that's something I need to first study. But if it fits all the bills, then there's no reason to say no.
Okay.
Anish bhai from Goa.
We are a farmer company, and we always are looking for opportunities where our farmers can get some better value. So we would like to take opportunities and take back to our farmers and give them those opportunities to earn more. So if there is something of this sort, first and foremost, we will not go and give directly to our farmers, because we wouldn't want them to experiment and make losses. We will experiment ourselves along with a partner, and when that experiment is successful and we've learned what is right and wrong for the treatment, for the growing of that plant, Then we will ask our growers to get involved and then make a volume out of it. So it's a
Anish Bhai
process.
from Goa has a question. Anish Bhai, go ahead.
Yeah, Azhar bhai, Assalamu alaikum. Azhar bhai, we are into canning. We used to do canning seafood, but now we have canning of sweet corn recently. So we had an opportunity to work closely with farmers in Karad, Kolhapur, Belgaum area. One of the problem like we noticed was the farmers, they have their own I mean uh, like if you want to tie up with sweet corn farmers, for example, they don't easily trust you, because they see you as a company, and a company is always something which makes profit, and it doesn't care about farmers. So a farmer who grows in his area, I mean, if we tie up and we fix a rate, but when it is time for harvest, when he sees that market they don't easily trust the companies. So in this scenario, in this environment, how do you work with them?
Well, that's a very, very valid question, and it's a question which every aggregator or every company actually faces. And the biggest question over here, the biggest, in one word, it's a matter of trust. Now, the companies would like to always buy the cheapest, and the farmers, because of the landholding and small earnings, always want to exploit a situation and earn the best. I already explained to you that their their annual earning is not enough. They would also like to live a good life. They would also like to give some benefits to their families, which they cannot. So they're always, and because over the years farmers have been exploited by traders and other people, they don't trust so easily. So what really happens is contract farming does not work in India. And if a farmer is able to get a better price in the market, why would he give it to you at a lesser price? You see, now understand one thing. Outside world, in other countries, I'll just give you a scenario over here. Let's say you go to South America, South Africa, you go to Egypt or Europe for that matter. Farming over there is for commercial reasons. In India, we are farming for sustaining. If I don't farm, if the farmer does not farm, he cannot eat. Whereas in other countries, it's a business. So I have a 500-acre farm. I buy one farm, I take a bank loan, I bring in technology, I have a farm manager, and I do a lot of stuff. And I'm, it's a company where I'm paying provident fund and I'm paying my taxes, all of that. And as a commercial company, I can then make contracts. Now, secondly, what is that India has got a fantastic, the largest advantage that India has is we are the second largest country in the world, population-wise. When you look at the world of about 210 countries, only 2 countries, China and India, constitutes to about 40% of the world's population. So out of 7.5 billion people, close to 3 billion people are here just in 2 countries. And our farmer over here, although he doesn't get a lot of, he's small in land holding, but he's always got a market. Whether it may be a low market for his B quality, C quality, he always has a market. In overseas countries, I've got 1,000 acres and I can take care of my 200 acres of produce with this one company. He's at least saved his marketing. He doesn't have to go and put in a lot of effort of marketing. So contract farming works in overseas countries. It will not work in India. It will work as long as you are being fair to the farmer. You can get the loyalty of the farmer. Let us say your production and your volume is huge and you need that for running your factory, to ensure that you have your production capacities are being utilized. So instead of going shopping, as long as you give a fair price, existing price to the farmer, build his trust, you can at least be assured of the volume that tomorrow if somebody else comes, you know that the farmer we just kept giving them a fair treatment, and slowly over the years they recognize that these guys are here not here to fool us, they're not here to take advantages of us, and we are not only giving them a price. What we started doing also is all the agricultural inputs. When I remember I spoke about a full solution. So when I speak about agricultural inputs, when I'm speaking about all the chemicals and fertilizers which outside in the market are costing an X price with inflated margins, we as an ethical farming company, as a farmers company, we are a farmers company. So how can we add so much margins and give it to ourselves? So we use a working margin and give our agricultural inputs at a far lesser price to our farmers than what is available in the market. So we automatically reduce its cost of production. I've got a team of agronomists who are working with the farmers, helping them increase their production yields. We are putting in technology. We are taking the farmers overseas. We've got an agri-input division. We are skilling their farmers. Now, when I'm doing all of this, and tomorrow, let us say if I pay him 1 rupee lesser than somebody else, the larger benefit that the farmer sees with us, with the cooperative, the larger benefit he sees, then he says, वो 1 रुपया मायने ही नहीं रखता है, because he's getting so much more than just that 1 rupee. And that's how you create the loyalty. That's how you create the brand. And today, our farmers, I'm never worried about volumes. I'm more worried about my marketing. In fact, I have to today tell my farmers that I don't have space to manage your volume, so I'm not taking on new farmers. Because once I take on a farmer, then I'm committed to his volume. So my loyalty with my farmers is something today, after so many years, I can take for granted. That our farmers are our farmers, they will not go anywhere else. And I've never had to go and shop and buy from other farmers. Because you've created an ethos or an atmosphere of trust and goodwill. So as soon as the farmer trusts you, and he knows that you are there for his benefit, then वो 1 रुपया यहाँ वहाँ नहीं देखता है. And you have to manage your business accordingly and speak to your customers in that language also. That your consumer and your customer also must recognize and understand what the farming challenges are, what the prices are, and it should not stop there. That story should continue to the consumer or to your buyer and to the international markets. So we involve our customers in what we do. We keep a very transparent system. So the transparency helps our customers understand our challenges, and therefore together we find solutions so that his business also we can continue to complement. Now I'm working with the largest supermarkets in the world. Like for example, in Germany, I work with Edeka. In UK, I work with Tesco's. And similarly with all of, and when we explain to them what's happening and how the Indian model works, how the Indian farmers are as compared to them working with South Africa or Chile or anywhere else, and then we try to find solutions in that. As against a simple buy and sell business, it is a more rounded approach that you have to have. And contract farming will work in a different way, not on a price way, but in a trust, loyalty way. And that's what I would like to. I mean, I'd come over, have a look at what we do. I'm more than happy to share, because we don't have any secrets. Because what we are trying to do is we cannot change. It's no. I mean, what we've done, we would like to do. We would like to see all of India like that. We would like to transform India, but we cannot do it ourselves. So we are also looking for good people, good leaders who we can share our knowledge, we can share our vision. And if you can go back and do something in your region, somewhere we are successful. Because the entire country, the farming, agriculture background, everybody grows together and we change the landscape of agriculture. So please feel free to connect with me or, come over and have a look at what we do. And, I'm happy to share.
We will organize an industrial visit at Adar's farm sometime after the lockdown is over.
And there are no secrets. I'm more than happy to tell you what I did, where we bought our machinery from, why we did it, how we did it, what is my costing, everything. Because if people are actually do something,
Nisar bhai,
we try to encourage
Hey.
that, you know.
Go ahead.
There is
Go,
one
Nizam
question
bhai.
over here from Mr. Nishant
Nizam bhai.
by Nishant
ji,
Belavdi, where he's asking, is the business, what is exactly the business model of the FPO or SAHYADRI for that matter? Is it similar to the Amul cooperative model? Yes, sir. Our inspiration has been Amul. I will, we very strongly and we always give our credence to the fact that we learned a lot from the Amul cooperative model. But Amul is a single product cooperative. We are a multiple product cooperative.
Social question. I mean, there are a lot of corporates working among farmers, like Mahindra have their own agri division, Reliance has its own agri division. Plus, there are social corporates like SAHYADRI also working. Plus, there are celebrities like Pani Foundation of Amir Khan, and a whole lot of NGOs working among farmers, specifically in Maharashtra, when you talk about whole India. But when we hear of farmer suicide and other farmers' problem, Maharashtra is always the focus. So why is it that even when so many corporates and celebrities and social sectors are involved, why is the situation still, I mean,
That's a
not
very
improving,
loaded
or how is it?
question. That's a very loaded question, and you know that can take a long time to answer. But I'm going to try to quickly tell you. See, one of the first thing is the government does not is not really interested in the agriculture sector. They look at it as a vote bank. A couple of years ago or last year, you do recall, 35,000 crores was Qarz Maafi. This 35,000 crores was given from which funds? From the taxes that you and me pay over here. And 35,000 crores, if it was spent on infrastructure, if it was spent on cold storages, on better value chains, that would have given you solutions. The farmers, you are making them weaker by giving them all these solutions. The good farmers who are paying back their loans, they also stop paying back their loans because of this kind of approach by the government. You believe it? I mean, I would, you know, we have, I'm a public forum now, but we had the chief ministers of states calling us to explain agriculture and what they should be doing for agriculture. And they are the people, and the discussions we had with them were actually laughable because they did not know what the real needs of the farmer at the ground level is. So I cannot take names over here, but that's a fact. So there is very little happening at the ground level by the government because they're looking at them as a vote bank. And वो बेचारा शेतकरी है, वो बेचारा ही रहा है और सदियों से बेचारा रहा है. But he, as intelligent, given him the opportunity, like you and me, give him education, thoda haath pakdo unka, they are also leading. They can also go ahead. We are an agricultural economy. We are a country. Now, coming to your second question about corporates being involved, remember I spoke to you about the solution has to be wholesome. It cannot be piecemeal. So all of these companies are piecemeal solutions which are approaching only one thing. Very interesting, you mentioned Pani Foundation. Just a few weeks ago, we had a meeting with Amir Khan. In fact, he invited us. Amir Khan asked us to come and explain what we are doing and where he is going wrong because he was focusing only on Pani. So although he's doing a fantastic job and his intention and his mehnat and he's had a lot of progress in what he does, so the whole idea he was trying to understand is like, why am I not finding wholesome solution? And we try to explain that to him, that sir, that you've done something fantastic. There's absolutely nothing wrong with, but you're focusing only on Pani. But Pani is not the only problem, no? There is also agriculture, there is also residue free, there is also skill development. there is water retention management. There is all the aspects have to be covered, and when all those aspects will be covered, then the agricultural economy can grow in a better way. So social entrepreneurship, the solutions which must be more wholesome than piecemeal, you know. So like I said, there's a lot on that particular topic. It's a fantastic question, and it's loaded. The question is all about what we do. But you know, like Rallies. Rallies is a company which is doing chemicals. Deepak Fertilizers is only into fertilizers. Reliance Agri is purely into a different set of work. They're all looking at stopgap solution. Jain Irrigation is doing only irrigation. They're trying to sell all their drip irrigation. So everybody's trying into it for business. Nothing wrong with that. But for the agricultural economy to kind of uplift itself to a major position, it requires an all-round solution where all aspects of agriculture need to be attended to. And that is why I keep repeating myself that from the consumer, from the farmer to the consumer, every link must be strengthened, which is what we are trying to do. We are controlling all the links. And by controlling all the links, we are able to put some value, and in our own small way, although I keep saying we are largest, vagera, but I don't think we are making a difference at the national level. And you know, we're not making a global difference, we're not making a GDP difference, and there is a lot of opportunity for people and young leadership to come forward and create these kind of models anywhere in the country, and we are more than happy to support them and guide them into whatever they do. You know?
Javed Bhai has a question. Javed Sayed. Javed Bhai, go ahead. Javed Sayed. Javed Bhai, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum, Javed Bhai.
Yeah, I have a question on the pesticide residue, on the material which you are exporting, especially for the grapes. Now, under the EPA, that is Environment Protection Act, the European countries, they have become very strict. And there are about more than 250 pesticides required to be monitored before they are sent out. Now, I just wanted to know from you how you do your management in right from farming the grapes and detecting the residues which are present on the fruits before they are exported, and because there are so many pesticides which have been banned also. So how do you control all these things? Because more than 250 is very, very, very big amount.
Perfect. Yeah, sir, can I just ask you your background, please?
Yeah, I am MSc Organic Chemistry. And I was with the laboratories where even LCMS, GCMS was used in detecting the PPB levels of the pesticides.
Azhar is also Javed Bhai is also the founder member of Muslim Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
No, because that was a very technical and knowledgeable question. I wanted to understand what his background is. Javed Bhai, the thing is, right? You rightly mentioned that unlike India, although India also has a list of pesticides which we are supposed to monitor, but there is no law in place to really do it. As per Europe, there are close to about 400 tests that we do, tests of chemicals which we do for every grape farm that we are loading for export. Now, what really happened is, this is a long journey. Grape export started way back in 92. I entered the business in 95. And we had no clue, neither us nor the farmers, and I don't even have education in that, and to understand what is residue management and control. It's only you learn the hard way. Somewhere in 2002, there was a chemical detected over there in Europe, and a lot of our fruit was rejected. That is when we got to realize that we've got to monitor all this, and that's when APIDA, which is the agricultural monitoring the promotion body of India, we had to go to them and say that, you know, you have to put some place, otherwise this industry will collapse. And so there was an industry, government and industry kind of tie-up where we understood what kind of chemicals is required in grape production. What are the chemicals? What are the limits of residue allowed on any grape at the time of consumption? And how do we test it? And at that time we realized that we didn't have enough knowledge about the production. We didn't have enough knowledge about the chemical management. We didn't have machines, as you rightly said, GCS and LCMS machines in the country. So we had to begin from 2002, where the government recognized and supported and subsidized these machines, which were costing crores of rupees, and appointed specific labs in the country to test these. And on our part, what we had to do was go and educate our farmers that if your lab test fails, I cannot buy your produce. But if I buy your produce, I will give you a better price than the market. So this was an incentive and a motivating factor for the farmers to ensure that he manages his crop in a disciplined manner, in a better manner, so that if his crop passes the test and it goes well, he gets a premium which we offer him as an incentive to grow a better crop, to grow a better size, and to grow it as per to be certified as global GAP, and to be have it as within the residue-free norms. And over the years, all the growers now are registered farmers with APIDA, and they have all understood how to manage their grape farms for export purposes and what kind of chemicals. And whenever there are changes happening in European Union with regard to any chemicals, our buyers inform us, and we accordingly inform our farmers and our agronomists to control the sprays or to avoid a spray, or if a spray is banned, to no longer use it. And thereby we control it. So we no longer have any rejections because of residue in Europe at the moment.
Very good.
It's been a long journey of making a lot of mistakes, losing a lot of serious money because of these. And it's only when you learn that you learn well. So today we can say that today actually when we speak to buyers, they say Indian grape is the safest grape in the world. They say the amount of failures and rejections because of pesticides on fruit in Europe, the lowest is from India. And they have got serious problems from South America, South Africa, from Egypt, but very, very little from India. Now.
Anybody else?
Ramzan Patan.
Anything more?
Ramzan Patan has a question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. It's a great pleasure to listen to one of the director from SAHYADRI Farms. I do follow Vilas Shindeji on social media also.
Okay, we've got a team which does that.
Yeah, correct. Actually, frankly speaking, I call myself as a lockdown farmer because in this lockdown only we thought about farming. Because basically I am a techno guy. I am an aeronautical engineer. I do have my office in Pune. We are into drone technology, but in this lockdown we couldn't go to Pune at all, and I stuck in Solapur. So I just want to know actually how we can get collaborated with SAHYADRI Farms as a farmer and as a technical person. And second question I have is what kind of courses, skill development courses you offer there, so the people like me can come there and take the courses.
One is depending upon the crop that you are growing. Either like I mentioned in one of my earlier slides, we've got crop specific FPOs also. We can kind of connect you to those crop specific FPOs. But what are you growing at the moment?
Hello. Yeah. As if now, actually, we just took my farm under development, so still we are not growing anything, but we are planning for drumsticks. Somewhere 20 acres.
But Solapur is a great area for pomegranates also. So, I mean, you can do that also.
Yeah, actually, regarding pomegranate, I had met with few of the Krushi Bhushan like Kachre, Raut and all. but the intensity of work which we're supposed to do for that, it may not be possible from our side, as I have other work also. So that way, actually, we come for this drumstick or like yoga.
Yoga is more than, you know, it's a short-term crop, so you can do that. Well, I can put you on to my purchase team.
Okay.
And you know, we're doing a lot of domestic sales. But thing is, we are focusing a lot in Nasik. So
Correct.
to purchase from Solapur and bring it to a pack house in Nasik, the transport cost may not be viable.
Right.
I could have got you connected with other product lines or with other people. But
Okay.
I'll take your number from Nisar Bhai and then I'll let you know on what we
You can join Muslim Chamber of Commerce, Ramzan bhai.
Yes.
We have Anis bhai's number over there. Please send your number over there.
Yes, sir.
And from there, we can take you on to many entrepreneurs who are there in the company, in our group here.
Yeah.
I think
Thank
that was
you,
the
sir.
last
Thank you very
question.
much. Yeah.
Yes, one more is what skill development courses. We're doing a lot of retail skill development courses. We're doing a lot of courses for the local ladies at home who you know, India lives in a joint family. So how to take care of there are medical courses that we do for the ladies in home care of the elderly and aged. We do retail courses. We do farming courses. So there's all variety with on that, and you know, I can kind of send something to you if you want.
What you can do possibly do, Azhar, is send the courses across to us so that whatever candidates we find here, they can get help with those courses. I'm sure there are a lot of people who can get benefit of these courses from you. So if you can please send it to the Muslim Chamber group, we can you know, make it available for the benefit of people who want to take those skill. Mustafa sir is already teaching a lot of stuff like that. So maybe he can guide some students to take up these courses. Mustafa bhai, barabar hai?
Yes. Nisar bhai, my one last question. Can
Yes,
I have?
yes. Nizam bhai, go ahead.
Azhar bhai, I am from Yotmal, the most deprived area of the Maharashtra, Vidarbha, and I belong to the farmers family, basically doing all the farming work. So right now I don't have any question, but my humble request is that can I have your number from Nisar bhai so that I will contact you later after discussing with my fellow friends and my fellow family members who are doing the farming, and how maybe the help for them. We'll discuss with you later.
Nizam bhai, we will put you on, definitely.
No
Azhar
problem,
and I
sir.
are in the same Rotary Club. We meet every Wednesday. Practically, रोजाना कुछ ना कुछ बात होती रहती है उनसे. So I'll forward that number to him. You can directly contact him. बराबर है Azhar?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's the last question. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anis bhai. Yes, go ahead.
Azhar bhai, yeah, when we see the commercial farming abroad and compare it to India, outside it is more technology used in farming, right from harvesting, post-harvesting, processing, pre-packaging at every level. But here in India, like even if I take an example of sweet corn, even for harvesting they use the manual laborers. Even for the kernel cutting they use laborers. So at every level, laborers are preferred compared to technology. So at SAHYADRI, what is the ratio and what is the balance of laborers and the machinery used?
No, to be honest with you, see, one of the things is you must recognize that why do people use a lot of technology and machinery overseas is because they don't have people, they don't have enough labor, and the cost of labor is extremely high. If they start employing people to do all their work, their farming figures will not become feasible at all. They're probably paying, like if you pay about 500 rupees a day, they're probably paying 500 rupees an hour over there. And the cost of labor is extremely high. Secondly is India has a lot of labor. So it's a resource available to you. We are the second largest populated country. Majority of our country lives in the villages. So there's plenty of labor available if you can monopolize it, and you can get cheap labor to do work. So having said that, labor is a positive thing. It's a fact that you can our labor costs, when you compare our labor costs according to anywhere in the world, it's the cheapest. So you actually look at that as an advantage. Problem is training that labor, getting them to certain standards. That becomes part of your job. Secondly,
Like when
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like when we were doing, I mean, procuring sweet corn from all this Kolhapur, Karad and all, we had this regular excuses like today the laborers didn't come for cutting the sweet corn. So one is that these type of excuses, they it delays our procurement. And even if you see the quality of the process, I mean the cutting of the sweet corn kernels and all, the machinery work is better than what you get from the laborers. So when you
That
grow
I
in
agree.
agriculture, how do you? I mean, one machine can take a job of 3 to 4 people.
See, we've got a multi-layered system. First and foremost, most of our produce is harvested by ourselves. So it's our labor which is trained, and we send out our vehicles to the farm. So we've got a system, and I showed you my technology system where we know which farmer is ready for harvest, and we kind of identify him for the next few days, like who's going to be harvested. And our team with our labor, with our vehicle goes and harvests the product and brings it back. The farmer is often supposed to only help in the loading and other aspects on his farm, because oftentimes, because we need to take a particular quality, we cannot take anything and just bring back. And if I allow the farmer to do it, वो कैसा है कि अपना बच्चा प्यारा ही होता है, तो वो उसको हर वो the A, B and C quality सब कुछ वो डाल देता है. So we often send our own labor to do our own harvesting. That is one question. Secondly is most we have also come to recognize in the in this pandemic that when we didn't have labor, we actually had a problem, because although all these years we kept believing, हमारी जिम्मेदारी भी बनती है कि to create employment and opportunities for the labor, and we used to really employ a lot of labor. Like I said, at peak sometimes we have about 4,000 labor working with us. But we realized that in such a situation, जहाँ पर आज की तारीख में, now the next couple of years, where labor is going to be a bit of a shortage because of this pandemic thing, we have to rely on technology. So although we have technology, we have our machines, we have everything, but there has been a lot of labor dependency, which is changing now. And I agree with you that what we are exporting overseas, the corn, we are doing a lot of frozen corn. We were doing hand-peeled corn, but many of our customers have been insisting on machine-cut corn. So we have recently, before this lockdown itself, we have recently invested in a machine which can cut corn correctly the way they want it, so that you don't lose the tip. So that we invested more from a customer point of view, that they wanted machine-cut corn rather than hand-peeled corn. So that was from a customer point of view, yes, but we also recognize that we need to get a little more automated, especially for the next couple of years until this pandemic thing resolves and life gets back to normal. But we also send our own labor to do a lot of harvesting.
Thank you very much, Azhar. A lot of time you have given out of your busy schedule. We are very thankful to you. As I told you, we would like to send some people on your training programs, so please share that. And I think everybody else, please share your feedback of today's meeting on the WhatsApp group. Sajid bhai, Anish bhai, Javed bhai, everybody, Nizamuddin bhai, all of us, please share your experiences on the WhatsApp group. And we will also be sending you a recording of this, uploading that thing, and we will be sending you this. Anyway, thank you very much, Azhar. Thank you so much.
No problem. But do let me know, Nisar bhai, how it went. I mean, what's the feedback, so that
Yes, sure. We'll let you know as it is showing up that people are very happy with what you have spoken about. Lots of information, and there are lots of business opportunities with you, which when they hear everything peacefully will come up. There are a lot of business opportunities that can be created on your thing. Thank you very much, Azhar.
No problem,
Thank you, everybody else. So it is Allah Hafiz
Thank
from
you for
here.
this opportunity.
Ji? So I think we call it a day, and it is Allah Hafiz to everybody. Do we end the meeting here?
We'll open the meeting if you want.